Welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, the drips of knowledge you need to start growing. Hey, welcome. So we are getting close to Black Friday here, which is exciting. We're moving towards some good traffic time. You know what? I saw a Black Friday promotion. I'll share it. This has nothing to do with the podcast, but I thought I'll share it with you because I thought it was interesting. I got on a website and a little thing popped up and it said, for our Black Friday deal, we are going to be refunding every 10th order. So every time we get 10 orders, we're going to refund that 10th order. And I thought, that's kind of fun because it guarantees you 10 orders and then you refund the 10th one. And, there's kind of a luck of the draw. So there was no discount on the product or anything like that. It was just kind of this, we'll refund the 10th one. And I thought, I've never seen that promotion before. That's an interesting one. So anyway, I don't think that would work very well on Etsy, but if you do have your own website and pop up and want to give it a shot, go for it. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking, this is going to be one of those podcasts where you're like, Jared, why are you talking about this? And it's surprising. This is one of those things that we lose from our perspective. So Jared's guilty of this as well, because we sit on our side of the computer and we have our experiences with our customers. And so we are like, oh, there seems to be confusion here. Let me try to update the customer ahead of time about this confusion. And where we get kind of blind is when we can sound rude at times and our policies can sound harsh. And what this moves towards, and the line that you want to really tote, there's this word, it's called psychological, I should know. Psychological reassurance? No, psychological reactance. That's what it is. Psychological reactance, which is when someone feels like their agency is being taken away or they don't have the freedom to choose, they react. And so this is something that's very much in like the signs that say keep off of grass. They tend to not work as well as please don't walk on grass, because please don't walk on grass allows them to make a choice. Do you want to walk on the grass and kind of violate this sign where keep off of grass is sort of like a nah, dog, like, don't tell me what to do. I can walk on the grass. Who are you? You start to question that authority that comes in. And so we don't want our Etsy stores to be keep off the grass when someone's about to hand you money, because it feels like they're entering this legal obligation, like this legal contract to be able to purchase something. We want to be much more, please stay off the grass. And especially if it's for someone's safety. For your safety, we ask that you don't walk close to the edge, for example. Now it becomes, hey, you can walk close to the edge. You might fall, and we warned you, and it's your fault, but we warned you. And that's more where you want to be with your policies and how you speak on Etsy. And I'm going to share some examples, some real examples with you that I've seen on Etsy. And we're going to talk about ways that we can fix that and update that. So what I want you to do from your perspective is listen and just see if you are unaware that you might be speaking a little bit more aggressive in your listings and in your process than you need to be. So one of the ones that doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it's kind of a big deal, is when we write in all caps something aggressive. So like, no cancellations, no refunds, all orders are final. This, I understand what we're trying to accomplish, which is let them know, like, beware. If once you order, it's done. And if you have a vintage product or you have a digital download or something that you're like, I can't refund you. You could just buy my products and then print them as much as you want and return them. And that's not fair. And so that is fair. So the way you would want to address something like this, instead of the no cancellations, all orders are finals, read carefully, you would want to say something more like, each item is carefully made and shipped just for you, which means I'm not able to offer cancellations or returns. If you ever have any concerns with your order, message me at any time. I'm always here to help. This moves away from the threat and more into clarity and support. And that's the key word here. Clarity, support. Clarity, support. So instead of being mad at people, in fact, I'm going to read this one to you because it was too funny. Okay, I had to pause because I wanted to find it. It took me forever to find it, but I found it. This is literally what it says, and it's like 8 paragraphs into the description. It says, we describe the item as accurately as we possibly can. It is your responsibility to read the entire description and study all of its accompanying photos to be certain you are ordering the item we offer. And then in that same paragraph, no cancellations, no refunds, no returns, no exchanges. Orders are final. All caps. So, yikes. Now, you know this girl's had some issues with people pushing back. You know that her store is Thrifty Thinkers. Whoops, probably shouldn't have said that. But you know she's had bad experiences. And so she's just trying to protect herself. But because of this, she is coming off very, very aggressive. So the first thing Thrifty Thinkers needs to do is she needs to have an internal look on herself. Why are people canceling? Why are people refunding? Why are people returning? Why are people exchanging? And why don't people think orders are final? And if your thought process is because they're not reading my description, then you're doing Etsy wrong. They should know this. You've been a fan of the podcast for a while. You know this by going through the pictures. Your pictures need to share these things. Now, again, that doesn't mean we put big old no cancellation signs on our pictures because that's a deterrent. But they should know this. You should not have to say it is your responsibility to read the entire description and then continue to write 18 paragraphs that you force them to read. That is a deterrent. That is not who we want to buy from. We're going to avoid this. What we want to do instead is teach, show, and then again, that word that we used, support and clarity. Okay, so let's jump into, I wanted to pull some from digital downloads because I know this is a big problem that you guys have, which is that people think they're either getting a physical product, so then they want a refund, and then you can't refund them because it's a digital product, and you're like, hello, I can't get the product back from you, and so it becomes a problem. So a lot of people just plaster themselves with, read before buying, no refunds, color may vary, whatever. And I get it. I get it. I just think that when you're presenting a digital product, you want to share the benefits of why it's digital and then mention that there isn't a physical connected to it instead of the other way around. Meaning within the third, second, fourth picture, you have something that says digital file only. This means you can print as many times as you want. You can make small edits. You can get it print to different sizes. You can use over and over. And then at the bottom say, no physical items will be shipped. Something along the lines of that. That sells the benefits of digital and then is emphasizing that there's no physical that's connected to that. And I think that's a much better way of saying that. So the no refunds, color may vary. I think it's better to just say, I want your file to turn out beautifully. So here's a few helpful notes before you download. If you ever have any questions or want help customizing, just reach out. This moves it more towards helping and less panic. Less like, you need to have everything figured out before you push checkout. It's like, look, I'm going to help you check out. So I would go more that route in a digital space. The same might go if you sell patterns, and this can be problematic because a lot of times we want to show the finished product. In fact, I would coach you to show the finished product because people aren't buying patterns, they're buying finished products mentally. They're not, you get what I'm saying with that, right? It's like if I was buying a tree house that needed to be assembled, I'm not necessarily in my mind being like, I'm buying the wood. I'm like, I'm buying a treehouse. I'm just going to build it. So I'm buying a template. I'm just going to make the template. And so there's nothing wrong with showing finished products. It can just be confusing when someone, especially if they're new to Etsy or whatnot, they might be going through and be like, oh, $4 for this crocheted bear. Beautiful. And so you just want to promote early within your listings the benefits of it being digital, the benefits of being a template, the benefits of how that works, showing it more this, and then, just putting sample photo next to it so that they know this isn't what they're getting, it's more of a sample, and then tightening that up if you have issues with it. I wouldn't move into the no refunds type. I would just think to myself, I would look at it more in the light of what can I do better to have more clarity and support and less threat. So I think That's a great theme for this podcast. Less threat, more clarity, support. Another one that I see in digital downloads is the you do not have the rights to resell. You acknowledge this is digital, no refunds, no exceptions, but that you do not have the right to resell. Who are you speaking to? You're speaking to someone who's planning on ripping you off. That's not speaking to your customer. And so in those scenarios, I invite shops to say, well, who is your ideal customer? And let's just focus on them. So you're focusing on your non-ideal customer, and you're using real estate to speak to your non-ideal customer. And we can say that exact sentence in a way that our ideal customer can appreciate as well. So this design is for personal use. You're welcome to print it as many times as you'd like for any event. Because it's a digital downloads, returns aren't something I can process. But if you ever need help or run into an issue, I'm here, or something along the lines of that. That is a much softer way of saying you can't resell this. But you're still speaking to your ideal customer. You're letting them know this is for personal use. They're welcome to print it as many times as they want. They can use it for events. It's digital download, so returns aren't something that you can process. All much nicer way than saying you do not have the right to resell. Another one I found during my research phase here was I found a shop that said, please do not message me often. Don't ask for updates, which I thought was interesting. It's so funny because every time you read it as an Etsy shop owner, you're like, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. People are probably pegging this guy, terrible word. I was gonna say, oh gosh, pinging this guy is what I wanted to say. Pinging this guy, hey, where's my order? When's that update? Is it shipping yet? And the guy's like, dude, enough. So, for my friend out here who's getting pegged, I'll give you a line here. I would say, you'll get automatic updates as your order moves through the process. If anything unexpected comes up on your side or mine, just message me and we'll sort it out together. Same expectation, feels more human, it's less annoyed. That's what I like about it. So, I get it, my friend, but we got to be a little bit nicer in the way that we say something. So this is another one I got. If you ignore my communications, you will be banned. Love that one too. Question: do you think the shop owner is old or young? I'll let you figure that one out. So, no, we can't say that to people. I would say, I sometimes reach out to clarify details so your pieces turn out exactly right. If I don't hear back after a couple days, I'll usually pause the order until I can confirm next steps. That's the word. I have someone in my mastermind group who talks about this. She makes these customized picture frames and things like that. And so she was saying, sometimes I hit someone up. I'm like, hey, did you misspell this word, or is this what you want, or whatever it may be, or I need the birth date to be able to put on this, or something along the lines of that. And she says, I won't hear from them. Jared, what should I do? Should I cancel them? Should I this? And I said, this is what you do. You let them know that you paused the order. Paused the order. That's the word. Paused the order. The reason for that is you don't want them to be thinking, oh, you just took my money? No, I didn't take your money. I'm going to do exactly what I promised to do. I'm just waiting for you. You also don't want to feel like you have to hit someone up every day. Hello, hello, hello. Where are you? Which is where this person is feeling. If you ignore my communications, you will be banned. Okay, bro. You just say to them, hey, I need this birthday. Hey, following up. Nothing. You say, all right, I'm going to pause the order until I can confirm the next steps. And that's it. Move on with your life. And if the person never writes back to you, great. If they a year later write back to you, great. Paused. So I'm going to end this with just an overall theme that I sometimes see in these listings as I'm going through. If you're part of the Growth Society, which is that group that I have, I'm going to post some of these listings in there so you'll be able to see them and giggle with me at some of the aggressiveness that these listings have. But this is an overall feel that I have, which is this like ignorance is no excuse. It's this feeling of like, if you make a mistake, that's your fault. And if you didn't read the description, that's your fault. And if you didn't go through my pictures, that's your fault. And there's truth to that, right? If we're like, hey, I clearly stated this was something I wouldn't do or whatever, and someone assumes you're going to do it, you can say, sorry, it's here. And technically, you would be right because it was in your description or it was in your policies or whatever it may be. We just don't want our voice to sound like that the minute they land on our listing. And so you need to do your best as the shop owner to make everything clear in your listings. And if you are getting confusion, we don't want to blame the customer. And so it's funny because a lot of these, they've had lots of experiences of people thinking they're getting something or thinking they can return or thinking the colors won't vary or thinking whatever. And then their response to that is, I'm just going to yell at you. And that isn't the right response. The correct response is to look internally and say, how am I not being clear? And so you can yell at a child to stop doing something, or you can say, how can I help motivate this child to not do those things? So if a child is getting an F in school, is my response to yell at the child? That'll fix it. If I just yell at them, the fear of me yelling at them will get this to be taken care of. Or am I just reacting to the fact that the result has already taken place? I'm just mad at the result at this point. But does that fix any of the pre-decisions that are being made before the F? No. So if someone's buying things and assuming that they're going to be in a certain way, and you just yell at them for not knowing that, it's similar. We want to go back and say, how do we prevent our child from getting an F? What are the things that we can do that are less aggressive and less threat and more support and clarity that allow someone that when they reach checkout, they don't have these questions? Because if you speak aggressively, you're going to push the psychological reactance that we don't want, which is that they're going to feel that feeling of, oh my gosh, don't tell me what to do. What is this? This is aggressive. No, thanks. I feel threatened. I don't feel like I have choice in what I'm doing. And so support, clarity. And I think this is, as you're reaching Black Friday and getting this new traffic, I would look at some of your listings and just make sure that there is a tone of support and clarity in what you're doing. Okay, till next week, which will be Black Friday, which I am working on something for Black Friday. Am I going to get it done by Black Friday? 50% chance. But I'm hoping that on my next podcast, I can release something. I might even release this next podcast on Thursday, just because Black Friday is kind of crazy for you guys, and I probably get one person to listen to my podcast on that day. So if I do, Thursday's Thanksgiving. I'll do it on Friday. All right, best of luck to you guys. See ya. Oh, and if you wanted to get in the loop of what's going on for the Black Friday stuff, you can either join the Facebook group, follow me on Instagram. That's it. There's the only two places. I'll post it there, and then I'll probably send an email out. So if I have your email, great. If I don't, just join one of those groups. You'll see me there. Okay, that's it. Bye.